All right, guys. Once again, you're all welcome to today's session. My name is Vincent, like I said previously, and I'll be taking you guys on the introduction to web development and the tools we would need to develop websites. Um, all right, so let me leave this screen. I think I have to share my screen now. Yeah, okay. From time to time, I'll have to come back, so you would have to bear with me. Anybody else who want to join in on the call, yeah, I'll need to let them in. All right. So once again, we're all welcome to the very first session. If you can hear me, I would, with a show of hands, just signify if you can hear me clearly with a show of hands. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So let's begin. What is web development? Before we start, I would like to say that just as was discussed yesterday during the onboarding session, I'm going to start from the very beginning. So if you are a bit advanced, this may sound very boring to you. But for individuals who are very new, who do not really have not really stepped their foot into any sort of web development, I think this would be very helpful for them. Today's session is going to be really brief. Basically, we'll be talking about what web development is all about and some of the tools we would need to develop websites. Basically, okay. Okay, all right. So let me visit our website. Let me visit the justprojects.com. All right. So this is the justprojects.com. This is the website you visited to sign up to this program. Uh there was a section called the amount of registered users and all of that, but it has been taken off because registration is done. We're done taking in registrations as students. So yeah. So this is a website, guys. This is a website, and it was created, it was developed by web developers. So if you're on this call, what it means is you want to have this kind of skill that the individuals responsible for this website have. You want to become a web developer. You want to be able to create websites just like this one. If that is the case, then you're welcome. Of course, our UI UX guys, they were the ones that came up with the whole design. Yeah, so that's a step. That's for UI UX. Then the web developers on the team had to go through the design and bring it to life. Sorry, from time to time I will have to switch. I don't know. We'll find a solution for this. All right. So basically, web development is the creation of websites. Yes, that is the simplest way of defining what web development is. Of course, it can go deeper. We have different branches. We have the front end, we have back end, we have the browsers, we have the server, we have okay, we have servers, we have what else am I missing? We have SEO because there's a way you can create a site, and then when you go on search engines, your site would appear. So that would mean that you have applied best practices SEO wise, search engine optimization wise to your website. So everything is all a part of web development. It's a broad field, but for this training, we'll just stick to what you can see, which is exactly what we can find here. So this is what we basically will be working on HTML, on CSS. How can you structure your site? How can you design your site so it looks really good, and you can show someone and be proud of what you have done. So that is what this is all about. Now, some of us may uh, have some knowledge when it comes to editors. Sorry, not editors. Yeah, word editors. Word editors like MS Word, Microsoft Word, and all of that. Because when you want to create a site, you have to you have to write code. You have to write something. So everything you are seeing here is actually code. If you right click and you inspect the page, then if you go to, yeah, elements, you can see that these are codes. These are everything that the web developers had to write to come up with what you see on the screen. So all this text that you can see under the elements tab that make up this, they were written inside a code editor. Okay, I have to admit persons. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Okay, so they were all written inside a code editor, not a word editor. So Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, and all those other word editors used by secretaries and all that would not cut it. We have to make use of a code editor, and we have a lot of them. We have Atom, we have Sublime Text, but we would be strongly suggesting that you make use of VS Code. There's a lot of them. If you go on Google and you search, okay, types of code editors, you would have so many results. Types of code editors. You know, everything is on Google. I love Googling, so you have to bear with me. All right, so here already says we have like 17 best code editors and all of that. This is from Hostinger. Um, of course, the number one, the first one they listed was Visual Studio Code for good reasons. I mean, it's awesome. So I would say you should go for Visual Studio Code, but we also have like really good ones. Like I said before, Sublime Text, we have Atom, and we have a lot of them. Uh, choose whichever you like. Again, please, if you are to ask someone, I think most people would say you should go for VS Code, Visual Code. So that is that. I would like to show you one of the reasons why code editors are awesome. They are awesome because they help you with, okay, man, this is very distracting. Okay, admit all right. You know, this is actually the only, I think this is the only course I'll be taking, the only class I'll be taking. So this would not be a frequent thing. You know, people coming in and I'll have to pause, then go back. No, it's not going to happen most of the time. Most of the time, I'll just be on the back, just accepting individuals while your mentors will take the classes. But for today, let's just bear with me. Bear with me. Yeah, where did I stop? Okay, yeah. So I wanted to show you something. So this is Visual Studio Code. For those who don't have Visual Studio Code, just go to Google. I'm sure we all know what Google is. Then we can just type Visual Studio Code. And one of the options you'll see is download here. So once you click on download, my internet can be a little bit slow, so you have to bear with that. But once you click on download, it takes you to a page where you can download. Uh, okay, so this is the page. So we have for Mac, we have for, I think this is Linux or Ubuntu, and then you have for Windows. So whichever you use, just download and install. I would share a video on YouTube that shows you the simplest way of installing the Visual Studio Code. It's really straightforward. You download the file, you double click on it, then next till it gets installed. Just the regular way you install softwares. For individuals who may find that difficult, all the same, please just reach out to a mentor and they would assist you, get on the call with you, and show you how to do that. Now, I want to assume all of us also have Chrome. We have a browser. It doesn't have to be Chrome. Some people are on Apple on a MacBook. So if you're on a MacBook, you have Safari and all of that. You can also have Chrome, I think. So if you don't know how to get Chrome, same thing. Go on Google and just search in Chrome browser. So once you click on Chrome browser, I think one of the very first option, although there's also download now here, but just click on the very first option. It's more or less the same thing. Takes you to a page where you can download a browser, because while you are working on Visual Code or Visual Studio Code or any editor of your choice, you would have to check to see what you are doing. So the it's you use a web browser to check what you are doing, and even all those who wants to visit your site would have to visit your site through a web browser. So the whole process of web development would require you to have a code editor and also a, a web browser as well. And Chrome, in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the best. So I would suggest you also uh, download and install Chrome. I already have all this stuff, all the softwares installed, so I'm not going to go through that. I'll also share a video of how to do that if you don't have. I know most of us already do, but if you don't have these, I'll share a video on the resources channel on how to go about installing that. All right, so let's go back to Visual Studio Code. Let's do something really quick. Okay, so I would create a new file. Let's expand this and go to Control N, which should open a new file. Okay, select a language. Okay, all right, no problem. It's not a problem. So I'm selecting HTML. So what's happening here is it's asking me, okay, you want me to create a new file, but what file? We have different programming language. We have a lot of them. So which file do you want me to create? That's what it's asking. So I'm just going to say select a language, then I'll type in HTML and select HTML. I think that should be that. Okay, I'm still accepting people in. All right. Okay. All right. So that's that. So I have a file now. Now, ordinarily, tomorrow is for Git, next tomorrow is for HTML. I think that's the curriculum. So normally I shouldn't be doing this because this is also still coming up. But I want to show you why, one of the reasons why we make use of code editors. It makes life really easy. Because ordinarily, if you want to write HTML code, you would have to manually write down a couple of things. For instance, you have to write the doc type, which you may not know about, so don't worry your head about all of that. But look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to write exclamation mark, and I'm going to write, I'm going to hit on the tab key. Now, hitting on the tab key automatically fills up everything for me. So ordinarily, if I were using, let's say, plain text, let's say MS Word or whatever, which will not even work, but let's not dwell on that. But I have to manually write all of this. But with code editors, there's always this nifty, very handy tools you can use to write the basic stuff and just quickly go ahead to write your code. So you don't have to now manually start writing this and that and that. You write the doc type, HTML head, body, and all of that. It's good to know how it is structured, and that will be taken during the HTML class. But at the same time, code editors just produces magic. So that's the head and tail of that. So if you are with your code editor, a very good code editor, you don't have to disturb yourself with all of this. You manually input that, and that's fine. If I want to create a div, I can just create div, and then I hit on my tab key, and it will give me an opening and closing tag. So I don't have to manually write all of that. A p tag, same thing. I can write 10 divs. I write div times 10, and it gives me 10 different divs. So again, you shouldn't worry yourself about this, but I'm just trying to make you understand just how important it is for you to have a very good code editor. And Visual Studio Code, in my opinion, is by far one of the best. So another thing you can do with Visual Studio Code is you can even have a live editor. So we have extensions panel. So this is for extensions. So for instance, this code, let's just write something. Let's just write anything. Uh, what do I write here? Okay, let me just say this is the first class on web development. I feel like I can still spell. Okay, yeah, I can still spell. Thank God. Okay, so this is the first class on web development. That is the text I just wrote here, and we have a lot of this stuff here. But let me just delete this and this is all we have. This is all we have. So I would save this file. I think I should save it to my desktop. Yeah, let me save it to my desktop. Let me name it first class.html. All right, so it's on my desktop. Let me save this. Now, for me to get this file, normally I would go to my desktop and then I would double click on first class. Look at the file here. So once I double click on first class, it will open it on my browser, which is this. Now, if I go back to my code and I want to write something else, let me say before this is the first class, let me just write a h1 tag here and say hello guys, and save. If I go back to uh, my that is the document, hello class doesn't appear because it's not automatically refreshing. It's not automatically rendering the latest information that is on that file. Unless, of course, I refresh. If I were to refresh this, then it pulls out hello guys. But what if I need a situation whereby I want, immediately I'm coding, I don't have the strength, I don't have the time to manually go there and start refreshing. I want everything to just be automatic, to just show. I write a code, p tag, I say I don't have the time. All right, I don't have the time, and then I save. That's another thing you have to save. You go to file, you save. Although on Visual Studio Code, you can actually activate auto save, which is always activated in mine. So I don't have to manually save because sometimes we forget to save and you may lose your code that way. So I always have it auto save on. Sorry, let me accept a couple of persons in. Sorry, guys. Okay, all right. All right, so what do I do? What I can do to solve this problem, because now I don't have the time, but I don't have the time doesn't display here. So what do I do? There's an extension. Under extensions, you can search for an extension called Live Server. It's already installed, so let me look for it here. All right, so look at it here, Live Server. So if I click on it, it will appear here. So normally you just come here and type Live Server and you search, and then it comes up, and you set it will come up with a lot of different live servers extensions. You just choose the one you like. I think the first one is the one I installed by Ritwik Day. So I installed, it's already installed. So normally you should have an install button here. So you installed that. Now, like I said, I already have it installed. So that's that. Um Sorry. Okay, all right. So what I can do is I can come here and I can say, because once you have this extension installed, right here you would see go live. Okay, sorry, I think there are some messages. Maybe I don't know if people cannot hear me. Okay, all right. Can you guys hear me? By a show of hands, just show me if you can hear me, because somebody is complaining that they can't hear me. So if you can hear me, please just show your hands. Okay, all right. So you can hear me. That's fine. Thank you, guys. So if you can hear me, maybe it's your network. Maybe you have not connected your mic or your headphone. I think your headphone rather. So anyway, let's go back. We're almost done with this session. So what you have to do after installing that extension is you click on Go Live here. So you see Go Live. So once you click on Go Live, okay. Oh, that's true. This won't work here. Oh God. Okay, let's quickly do something. Let's go to my desktop. Let's create a folder. Most times these things work best on folders. So let me call this first, and then I'll drag this file here. All right, so inside first there is my file, which is first class. Okay, that's fine. So I'll go to my code like here, and then I'll say open folder, and then I'll go to my desktop. I'll go to first, and sorry. Okay, sorry. Let me go back. want to open a folder, not a file. So this is the folder. So I'll click on first and then I'll click select folder. That's all. Let's give it a second to load that. All right. So we've now loaded the folder. This is the folder here first. Inside the folder, we have our file, which is firstclass.html, which is still here. So we're still good, we're still good. But of course, this guy is going to be broken. If I refresh now, it's going to be broken. Yeah. So I think I have to put slash first, then slash first class. I think that should work. All right. So this works. Okay. All right. So because we changed the structure of the file, so I just had to put the folder which is first. Okay. All right. So let's continue, guys. Okay. Admit. All right. Okay. So we are back to where we stopped. Uh. So now let's try going live again. Let's see what happens. All right. So if I click on go live, then you give it a second. Let's see. Let's see. I don't think I clicked on it. Did I? All right. So okay. Allow access. Let me allow access. Allow access. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is the file that I manually opened, and this is the one that opened immediately I clicked on go live. And if you see the URL, you see that it's now open on this part. So this is the part it's opened, and this is the name of the file. Now, if I were to make changes to this file, for instance, let's say I say what do I use here? Let me just pan. I don't know. And I say this is a very um insightful session. I hope. Yeah. And then let's check our file. Let's see. All right. So it automatically updated. This is a very insightful session, I hope. So once you are making changes on your file, it will just automatically update. Yeah. While the first one, of course, would not update because this is you have to refresh for the update to come up. All right. So this is just one of the very, very helpful tools you would need in this whole training. So you would need you need an editor, and like I said, Visual Studio Code is one of the best. Then you will need a browser, which is I think you should go for Chrome, but anyone you like, it's fine. I mean, I think most browsers are solid, but Chrome, in my opinion, is my personal preference. So that is all. And also, we just spoke about an extension I feel you would also really, really need, which is the live server extension. So that once you are working, you can just preview what you're doing. It will just automatically be updating whatever you add here. So, yeah. So that's about that for today's session. Like I said yesterday, the sessions are going to be really, really straightforward. We're not going to spend too much time talking. It needs to be more than that. So if you have questions that you may have concerning how to begin, what you may need, please by all means raise up your hand. I can see a couple of hands, so let's just take questions. Thank you, guys. Let's start with Olufemi Otegbola. Please quickly you can unmute and let's hear you. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording first. I'm going to stop recording and then we can take questions.